and its new Institute of Mental Health and Resilience, and is also the author of the New York Times best-selling book, Strength in Stillness, The Power of Transcendental Meditation. Bob was the host of the very popular Sirius XM radio show Success Without Stress and the iHeartRadio podcast Stay Calm. He has also spoken about TM to industry leaders such as gatherings as Google Zeitgeist, Aspen Ideas Festival, Wisdom 2.0 and Summit, and many others. And it's a real joy, Bob, to connect with you today, and we look forward to all your insights that you'll share with us on the David Lynch Foundation and more.
Thank you very much, Anna Marika, and thank you, Maharaja, for giving me the opportunity to speak. It's an absolute honor and such a joy to be hearing about all these achievements around the world from Prime Minister, and to hear about this powerful new initiative from Consciousness Advisors and the vision that you have, Maharaja, for bringing the wisdom of knowledge, ancient Vedic science in modern terms to the whole world. David Lynch Foundation started on Guru Purnima Day on July 20th, 2005 by the great filmmaker and incredibly devoted student of Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, His Holiness Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, David Lynch. It was started at David's inspiration to bring a transcendental meditation to, at that time, at-risk, under-resourced children in the country. Now we're entering our 20th year. Over that time, the impact of David's foundation has spread. We are now in 35 countries, and there are many David Lynch Foundations established and flourishing in different countries around the world, and I'm very grateful to the Rajas who oversee those. Thank you. And instead of just teaching young people, we're now working with veterans, and we're working with police and firefighters, and we're in 100 hospitals in the United States, including 46 in New York City alone, teaching physicians and nurses and other healthcare workers. And in fact, one hospital, based on the experience of teaching there, they have now said that they're going to offer and pay for transcendental meditation for all of their doctors and nurses and healthcare workers. And it is our intention, as you'll hear me talk about, that this becomes the standard operating procedure. We along the way, had the opportunity to teach some very high-level people to meditate. It's very interesting that when I talk to them, or we talk to them about the health benefits or the creativity or those benefits, they're very inspired by that of transcendental meditation. But what captures their heart is when they see videos of children or veterans or healthcare workers. That's what opens their heart. They say, well, if that little child can do it, I can do it. Over this time, we like to say we've been able to develop, we call best practices. We can go into hospitals, military bases, prisons, businesses, just about anywhere, and we know how to teach transcendental meditation and provide a very robust follow-up program, maintaining the absolute purity and effectiveness of the technique. And what I'd like to do now is show just one short video and then give you some news about what we call David Lynch Foundation 2.0. It is just looking at those pictures, Prime Minister, of the people and lives being transformed around the world by the simple practice of transcending. It's obvious that consciousness is all there is, because by enlivening consciousness, lives are healed, miracles happen. And I just want to show you, this is some firefighters in New York City who 10, 15 years ago never think that they would want to meditate. And now there's waiting lists in fire departments around the country of firefighters who want to learn to meditate. So if you could show this little 3-minute video, and then I'll give you the news of the new direction.
I needed help. I struggled with alcohol for many years. Especially after 9/11, I'm a survivor. And the hardest thing to do is to ask for help, especially as a firefighter when you're there to help other people.
officers tell the men, leave your problems at the door. That's neat if you can do it until you get to a point where you can't. It's not an easy lifestyle. Sleep deprivation, stress, you see a lot of stuff that's difficult to process.
It felt like the world was crashing down around me, so I needed a change, I needed a reset. We sat as a group in a class and we tried it. I didn't believe it was going to work, and it was a revelation.
When I did my first session, I walked out of there and I remember I told another staff, I can't believe how relaxed. I don't think I've ever felt that relaxed in my life.
It definitely brings peace to me. It centers me. It's a whole new resource for us to help guys through trauma and stress of the daily grind of the job.
When you feel so much weight is on your shoulders, you know, that's enough to take a few blocks off your shoulders.
It's like a pressure relief valve, you know what I mean? A lot of first responders and people in general, but especially in this line of work, try to self-medicate, try to forget things they've seen, things that have happened. You know, friends get hurt, friends die. But to have something that's legitimate that can actually help you rid yourself of some of those, and not by drinking or doing other substances, which in the end is doing more harm than good, to have something that can really help, it's huge.
You know, we always say that if you're in the fire service, especially in New York, and EMS, you're going to leave this job with some level of post-traumatic stress. Your mental health is a positive result of TM. With TM, they don't have to have a quiet room. So for somebody to be able to sit in a firehouse when there's a lot of stuff going on and just close their eyes for 20 minutes and meditate, that in itself is fantastic. And I think that's why it's good for first responders, because they can do it anytime, any place.
This transformation with TM, it's changed a lot of people's lives, it's changed my life. It's made me a much more understanding, accepting, peaceful person.
The thing that's interesting, and I was reflecting, and longtime TM teachers will know, I remember 50 years ago attending an ATR course in a Guru Purnima celebration in Switzerland, and we saw a video of some people who were meditating, and it's the same story. And I always felt, and I think we've always felt, well, why can't this be replicated? Why does it stay in one fire department, one business, one school? Why can't this be everywhere? And so that is the focus right now of the David Lynch Foundation. How to take 60 years of unbelievable successes of a perfect technique that allows us to access the field of pure anyone to access the field of pure consciousness and transform their lives. Why doesn't everyone have it? And so we were thinking with some of the Rajas and the Maharaja, and thinking about what needs to be done and how could we do that? And we realized, and this is the North Star now of the David Lynch Foundation, make transcendental meditation available through insurance companies, through what's called employee assistance programs, third-party payers, make it available to everyone that way. We live, and we all know this, in a pandemic of stress, and I don't want to focus on it because we're living in it, but the numbers are, the problem is staggering and nothing is working. And everything now is in place, and I'm on calls with all the top insurance companies, talking with senators and congressmen and business leaders. Everything's in place for transcendental meditation to be incorporated in the healthcare system. No resistance, actually. The only obstacle has been, this is a little mini class on insurance coverage, the only obstacle has been we have not had the large scale called phase 3 clinical trials that demonstrate the effectiveness, and here's the key word, cost effectiveness of transcendental meditation. All the amazing work that's been done for 50 years by top scientists, and I just have to, in my heart, pause for a moment and do a shout out to the great and beloved Raja Dr. Michael Dilbeck for his amazing work over all these years. It's all there, But when a pharmaceutical company wants to bring a new medicine to market, they have to do what's called a phase 3 trial. Instead of 50 people or 200 people in one hospital, they need to deliver it in 6 hospitals, and there need to be hundreds and hundreds. And once that's done, with transcendental meditation, we'll be in a position to leverage that and secure coverage. So I know I'm going on a bit. I just want to give a little background on this. So for this reason, to achieve this, the David Lynch Foundation, this Guru Purnima, launched its Institute for Mental Health and Resilience. Institute for Mental Health and Resilience, which is not a public-facing institution. It is to interface with government leaders, business leaders, billion-dollar charities, educational institutions, to get them to support these large-scale studies and also incorporate transcendental meditation and offer it to all of their employees or clients. Because when that happens, it will be a transformed world. I don't need to say that to you. So the Institute for Mental Health and Resilience has 3 main focuses. One is, of course, this research, expanding the research, doing these larger phase 3 clinical trials. I have to shout out Dr. Stuart Rothenberg and Dr. Sandy Nidich for absolutely unbelievably excellent work. In the last 3 years during COVID, starting during COVID, we're now in, as I think I said this, 100 hospitals, yes, and 7 studies have been published in top journals on the benefits of transcendental meditation for healthcare workers, some showing benefits within 2 weeks. Now a study several $1 million has been raised to do a study on a total of 500 healthcare workers in hospitals in California, Florida, and New York City, with a focus on cost savings, show the cost savings. And right now, a $10 million study is underway on hundreds and hundreds of veterans and first responders who have PTSD in 5 top, the best hospitals and research centers in the country. And that research finding will be used when it's completed to secure coverage for the 1 million veterans who suffer and their families who suffer from PTSD right now. To move things along here, there's 2 other areas that we're focused on. One is on program development and partnerships. Program development means if we want to go into a corporation, if we want to go into a hospital, we have to have absolutely top professional teaching materials that is the best in the world, to deliver the best in the world transcendental meditation and the best in the world, all the programs of the consciousness advisors. I'm focusing here on transcendental meditation, but the David Lynch Foundation and the Institute is dedicated to bringing fulfillment to all of Maharaja's desires and plans here. We're just using transcendental meditation to get in the door at this point, but there's many approaches to get this knowledge out. So we're working on developing those teaching materials. And finally, to conclude, our focus is on education and advocacy. We need to support a major public awareness campaign. People need to know what transcendental meditation is and what it isn't. They need to know the benefits. They need to know so clearly the supremacy of transcendental meditation compared to any other meditation or mindfulness technique. I've seen it in action on the ground. It's a travesty, but it is what it is. So we're doing that. We also have an office in Washington, D.C. Sorry if I'm a little excited here, but it's wonderful to talk to all of you. We have an office in Washington, D.C., about 3 blocks from the Capitol building, where we are, Peter Lamoureux and Raisa Martinez and Rita Boone have been meeting with and teaching members of Congress and senators to meditate, other government leaders to meditate, getting them to, working to get them to incorporate transcendental meditation into the government, into bills. That's a process. Maharshi said with government, you don't run and bash against the boulder, you just keep putting pressure on the boulder until it moves. And the final thing is that we are, and I want to ask Adam Pressman By the way, that video was done by Adam Pressman, and he is a genius at all of this, and all of our design work by Shepley Hansen. But what we have now, what we're doing now to bring all this to bear is we're working with either the largest or the second largest marketing and advertising firm in the world. The CEO of the company is a meditator. He's offered to do all of our marketing, everything pro bono. And I called him up and said that we wanted to do something called Meditate New York. I didn't say anything more, and he said, I'm in. And then he said, well, what about Meditate Seattle? What about Meditate Los Angeles? What about Meditate Des Moines? So he said, I'm in. And this is going to be a large public health initiative. Our goal is to educate all the people here in New York City, and we're doing about what meditation is, what transcendental meditation is, and teach as many as we can. Our first goal is 10,000 frontline New Yorkers. We've taught about 2,500 so far. And they produced a video, a commercial. It's a 1 minute and 10 seconds done by them. I want to show it to you now. We hope in the spring this will be aired for free on television stations all over New York. And with Lynn Kaplan's support, we're doing this in Los Angeles and Peter Travalis, and it could roll out anywhere. So I just wanted to warn you. I have to tell you one last thing. The mayor of New York City, Mayor Eric Adams, has been doing transcendental meditation for 15 years. And I said, you know, we want to call this meditate, transcendental meditation New York. And he said, Bob, be patient with me. There's 9 million people in New York City, all of whom need to meditate now. You do as many as you can. And when you have more teachers, then teach more. But in the meanwhile, I want to give them something that they can at least get some relief. So if you could watch this, it was not produced by Adam Pressman, but I think it's very fun. And imagine this on television and billboards all over New York.
The Big Apple. A vibrant city full of hustlers, go-getters, and everything in between. But as one pandemic recedes, a new one is threatening our way of life. Toxic stress. Luckily, there is a solution, one that's simple, reliable, and proven to work. That, of course, is meditation. In partnership with local hospitals, civic community leaders, and the people of New York, we're launching Meditate New York, an initiative to get all New Yorkers to start meditating. Soon, New Yorkers will know the benefits of meditation, such as reduced anxiety, improved sleep, and increased productivity. Basically, it's the best thing since sliced pizza. And as a part of this initiative, we'll be teaching 10,000 frontline workers transcendental meditation, including first responders, healthcare workers, veterans, and teachers. You know, the New Yorkers who need it most. It's time for us to take back our city and reach our full potential, so we can get back to just the right amount of crazy.
If you've ever lived in New York City, then you'll know that term, get back to just the right amount of crazy, is actually pretty appropriate these days. So with the success of the soft launch of these different initiatives, we're now, I want to conclude by saying we are launching Meditate America, which starts off as a public awareness initiative, hopefully with a lot of national media to explain to people about what transcendental meditation is and the benefits, and working closely. I have to say, working so closely with Raja Hagelin. Raja Hagelin was one of the founders of the David Lynch Foundation with David Lynch and myself, and has been a great support all along. And Meditate America is going to be launched on with a gala on September 12th in New York City at the absolutely beautiful Lincoln Center, Jazz at Lincoln Center. And we are going to be, of course, we are honored to have as our guest, Dr. Nader, who will talk about his book, Consciousness is All There Is. The host of the evening. Next, the host of the evening will be Hugh Jackman, a long-term, very strong meditator. And actually, Hugh Jackman will interview Dr. Nader about his book. During the gala, we will honor Dr. Vivek Murthy, the Surgeon General of the United States, with our Enlightened Doctor of the Year Award. Dr. Murthy is a strong vocal supporter of meditation in the healthcare system, and he learned TM many years ago. And finally, we will honor a dear friend, the global women's health advocate, Maria Shriver, with the Enlightened Woman of the Year Award. Maria is a beloved and highly influential voice, a longtime meditator, voice on Capitol Hill for positive change in America. She comes from a high-profile family. Her uncles were President John F. Kennedy and Senator Robert F. Kennedy. And I would like to conclude by thanking again you, Dr. Nader, for your truly cosmic vision, for continually thinking and planning for the health and well-being, the peace and prosperity of the whole world, for each country, and really for each one of us. Your book, and I'm going to read this, your book, Consciousness All There Is, will be the operating manual for the Institute of Mental Health and Resilience. And every leader we meet, everyone we teach, will receive a copy of your book. The knowledge, the universal knowledge contained in the book will be a guiding light to realize the true reality of life for all of us in this generation and all generations to come. So I acknowledge you, I acknowledge the wonderful Rajas and Raj Rajeshwaris and mothers of the domain and everyone for all that you're doing and have been doing to create heaven on earth. And I have to say, I have to thank Steve Channon and Joanna Plavsky, strong governors of the Age of Enlightenment, who are helping to lead the David Lynch Foundation. And the last thing is, this is for Raja Hagelin, in 3 or 4 years or 5 years, when the Institute is fully funded, it will be the honor of the board of directors of the David Lynch Foundation to turn the Institute back over, to put the Institute in its proper home, to Maharishi International University. So it will be a fully funded MIU Institute of Mental Health and Resilience, there to support the Dr. Tony Nader Institute and all the great programs that are being done at your university. So Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev,
Yes.
dear Bob, such a joy to hear you and to hear you in the context of the future of the movement. And that's what we wanted really to highlight, that all that we are doing is based on what you have presented, what Prime Minister Ji has presented. And remember that it is transcending this greatest blessing of the Vedic tradition. That's the best way, the highest way, the fastest way to expand awareness. And that's what we are all about, to change the world from the field of pure being. And you are a great hero and a great achiever. And you're spreading this on the highest level with beautiful inspiration and very planned, organized projects for research and development and expansion, meeting the needs of the time and the requirements from every angle, to show that again and again, expanding consciousness has an effect on all aspects of life and transform all the desires of the people, all the needs of the people, and allow them to accomplish those desires and needs and fulfill them and understand the true purpose of life and enlightenment. So it's a path of growth, evolution, release of stress, less tension, less problems, resilience, and then it continues in greater and greater waves of enlightenment till unity consciousness for the individual and peace and harmony for all society. So thank you, wonderful And again, for all those who are with us, it was important and it will always be important. And that's what we wanted to show the global perspective, the grand achievements on the level of transcendence, and add a few elements that we have been discussing in terms of the Consciousness Advisor program, so that everyone will join the program, realize the importance of what we have to offer, and rise in perfection in their personal life and peace and harmony in every community and society. Jai Guru Dev.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nader, for your beautiful comments and really big vision. And of course, thank you, Bob, for this incredibly inspiring and expansive overview of all the projects that you're moving forward with such zeal with your whole team at the David Lynch Foundation. So thank you so much. And we're inspired and of course want to all come for the great start of the new initiative on September 12th. So
It,
we
it,
hope to see
on
you
Marika,
there.
it will be live streamed all over the world, so everyone will have access to it. It will be live streamed. And we're going to ask Hugh Jackman and Katy Perry and everyone to promote it on their social media, so there'll be a big, huge wave.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We're excited to be joining you. Now, it's a joy to introduce you to two more speakers for tonight. And